Real stories and fresh wisdom on the Front Porch. Join us with today's guest.
All right. Welcome to Wisdom on the Front Porch. I'm glad you're here. And on my front porch, we have Sally. And Sally is just a true soul. She's wonderful. She wants to help people get a better life and to live that freedom that everybody wants to live. And so, Sally, why don't you tell a little bit about yourself and what it is that you help people with?
I appreciate this, LS. I became a real estate investor back in 2018 when my mom got sick. She got septic of the blood. She was on the ventilator for 13 months, in a hospital 15 months, but thank God she got better. In 2019, with my mentor, I wholesaled 7 properties nationwide, paid off all my debt, and had $50,000 in my bank account. I was a rock star in my real estate group. 2020, COVID struck. My mom's from Ireland. We canceled a huge St. Patrick's Day party. On April 1st, 3 of my properties didn't pay me. I had no money coming in. And on April 4th, my CPA called me to say, congratulations, my tax bracket went from 22% to 24% because I made so much money in 2019. I'm like, that's congratulations? I owed the federal government $94,000 in short-term capital gains. I only had $50,000. I set an appointment for him, went to bed crying. I don't know if you know, have you ever heard of the book, The Power of Your Subconscious Mind by Joseph Murphy?
Right. Yeah. In fact, I have it on my shelf.
I love that book. So I go to bed thinking, what can I do? Wake up the next morning. I figured out I'm going to take a HELOC off my paid off townhouse, defeats the purpose of being having it paid off. And then I also remembered I read an article about the Rockefellers Spendthrift Trust. It's called The Office. I took 5 months to research it. I started both my business and beneficial spendthrift trust and became an affiliate of the law firm. I can help people save thousands of dollars in taxes. With the business trust, if you're making at least $100,000 gross per year, you will save 90% in federal income taxes, and in 43 states no longer pay state income taxes. Today, I talked to a gentleman who runs four shops. We're going to be saving him, just to give you an idea, we're going to save him $98,592 for a full year. The 2026 taxes just came out. He's like, send me the paperwork. With the beneficial trust, it is for all U.S. investors. You will no longer pay capital gains when you sell something at a profit. You'll no longer pay interest income taxes if you're a passive investor. You'll no longer pay dividend income taxes if you're in the stock market. You'll no longer pay rental income taxes if you're a real estate investor. And you will no longer pay royalty income taxes if you have talent or if you're in the NFT world. And I mean, I tell people it's a secret of the rich. Only the super rich know about this. And I appreciate you giving me a chance to tell your audience about this.
Oh, absolutely. Gosh, I think it's been over a year now that we've known each other. And I just hear what you're doing each time, and it just keeps getting better and better. And it's like, this is wonderful. People need to know about this, and they need to hear what you can do to help them. But I do have a question. Is this just for people that are investing in real estate or in stock? I mean, can it be for people who just have their 401k or things like that?
Great question. Paul Benson, the gentleman who started this law firm 77 years ago, not a single trust has been audited. He's not saying you're not 100% tax free, but the different trusts save different taxes. With the business trust, I cannot help W-2 income earners, only people who are being paid 1099 income. The money they save, they can put it back into their business. They could pay off their mortgage. They can buy a new car, a new vehicle. They can take their family on vacation, give to their favorite charity, save for retirement. Several of my clients have also started what we call I just forgot the name, the 501c3 nonprofit trust, because they're saving so much in taxes, they want to give back to their community. The beneficial trust is for any investor. I just talked to a gentleman yesterday who, kind of interesting. He's 29 years old. He's a Forex investor. He's like, I'm doing pretty good in Forex, but he didn't know he was getting double tax, capital gains and interest income taxes on Forex. We're going to save him so much money in taxes. He plans to quit his job in April because he's got to save a little bit of money up and do Forex investing full time. He's like, I'm really good at this. I'm like, I'm not telling you you're not, but good luck, you know. So, but when people hear about this, they're just like, "Are you sure?" And I hate to say this, if most CPAs will pull out on August 3rd of 2018, the IRS wrote an opinion letter saying they do not like this tax code 643B. That's what this is written under. They do not like the irrevocable, complex, discretionary, non-grantor spendthrift trust. It's their opinion. In my opinion, LS, I hate lima beans. You can't swallow them whole. You have to cut them in half. And my mom used to serve them at least twice a month. I'm like, it was her favorite vegetable. I'm like, ugh. Only Congress can change the tax code. And between you and I, Congress can't even figure out how to get our government started. But do you remember back when our current president was debating Hillary Clinton about 8 years ago? And she accused him of not paying taxes. And he says, oh, because I'm smart. His father, Frank Trump, started this trust in 1972 when Frank and Donald Trump got sued by the city of New York for discrimination. Because with the trust, all lawsuits go away, and Frank Trump never wanted to be sued again. So they're save taxes, keep your information private, and all lawsuits become frivolous. It's an amazing document.
Wow. Wow. I didn't know that. That's interesting. And it's interesting you talked about his dad being in the business and then he is in that. Um, and I think it's important that somebody has to be the first one to be in the business. So why not you? Why not do a little investing, find out what it's all about, find out what you can save. It's not illegal, it's very legal. These are
Correct.
written to help us out. So yeah, good way to do it. Well, that's very interesting. Um, so looking over my notes here of
Oh, please do. Ask me any questions.
we talked about yeah, I like what you said about the secret of the rich, how to save US taxes legally. And maybe you can expand more on that, besides what you've talked about. Um, Maybe tell us again, who would be your ideal client to come to you? What is the person looking for when they come to you? And I know you save them money. Gosh, there were so many ways you talked about it. I'm like, I had no idea there were so many different ways.
I personally, I don't laugh at me. I became a TikTok star. I have over 24,000 people follow me on TikTok. My four nieces are like, "Oh, Aunt Sally, don't dance on TikTok." I'm like, I'm not dancing. But most of my clients come from TikTok, but I repost onto LinkedIn, onto Instagram, onto Facebook, and other places. And it's just interesting. The gentleman who I talked to today, he said that he's been looking, trying to figure out how to save taxes, and he couldn't sleep the other night. He saw one of my videos on Instagram, and I'm just like, well, it worked. And you know, um, usually it's just people. I mean, for me, all to be doing everything correct, and then I pay my taxes, I paid off my debt, and to find out I have this whopping bill I didn't even expect to have, and my CPA is going to put me on a payment plan, and I'm going to have to pay interest and late charges. I'm like, this is not fair. How do the rich get away with things? And you know, it took me 5 months to research it, but if I can help somebody else save money, do you mind if I tell you a true story?
Oh, absolutely. Go ahead. I don't mind you telling. Go ahead and tell your story.
When somebody saw my TikTok video, and he contacts me on TikTok. He says, my parents are selling a 42-year-old family restaurant. Can you help them? I said, yes. because my dad's never been on Zoom. Can he call you? They're selling this restaurant on March 30th this year. It's now like March 28th, and we have to talk to his business broker. We changed the title because it can't be in their name. The trust has to be the one who's doing this. They're selling the restaurant for $3 million. At 15% capital gains, they would save $450,000. At 20%, they would save $600,000. His wife, Ann, knew about the Spendthrift Trust. She didn't know until the closing table how much they were saving. I get an unsolicited phone call from Tennessee, and she's crying happy tears. She's like, what if we have a stroke? What if one of us has a heart attack? He's 69, I'm 68. That's going to change. They're selling the business for $3 million, but an extra $450,000 on top of that. She's like, that changes our retirement completely. And I'm like, yeah, it does. And the business broker, Sam, when I talked to him, he started the business trust because I'll be honest, he was going to make $30,000 off that one deal and has several more in the pipeline. And then he told Michael, the gentleman who bought the restaurant, it's his 7th restaurant in 3 different states. And Michael's like, you're going to save me how much in federal and state income taxes? I mean, it was win, 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 win. It's a wonderful story.
That's awesome. Sally, how did you get involved in this? I mean, I know you just told us that you were in debt and you started doing research and stuff, but how did you even know where to go? Where to look for the information?
Great question. I love to read, and I'll be honest, in my real estate group, one of the instructors, Garrett Gunderson, wrote a book. It used to be called What the Rockefellers Do. I have a paperback copy of What the Rockefellers Do. Unfortunately, he's changed the name to What the Billionaires Do.
Okay.
I used his book to research this as much as I could. And the true story, I called the law firm that I now work on behalf of. They said, oh, no, we don't do this. We're accident attorneys. Next day, I get an unsolicited phone call. I'm living in Phoenix. I get an unsolicited phone call from California. Don't ask me why I picked it up. And it was a representative like myself. Richard, I became his affiliate. He was helping me start my business. Okay. And then I had spoken to him in November of 2021 on a Thursday, and he was supposed to send me something by email. Doesn't send it to me. On Tuesday afterwards, I call Richard back. A woman picks up his phone, and she says, he died in the hospital on Saturday from appendicitis. I'm like, wow,
oh my goodness.
Didn't even know that, So I'm like, okay, that's okay. And then 2 days later, the law firm that I work on behalf calls me directly and says, we want you to become our affiliate. You sold 14 trusts in your real estate group, become our own affiliate. I'm like, making more money? I'll do that. Fast forward to Christmas of 2021. I'm in North Carolina visiting my brother and sister-in-law. My first property in the trust was a bank-owned contract for a reverse mortgage house in Rocky Mount, North Carolina. My mom was in the hospital for 9 months in North Carolina because they came for a wedding. I learned what upset bids were, and I won 3 upset bids in 2 different counties. And my brother's like, and I wholesaled them. And he's like, did you rob a bank? What are you doing for this money? So I over the holidays, because I had to wait for things, the gentleman who ran my real estate group cheated me out of $5,000 on a real estate deal. And have you ever talked to someone who just turns on a dime?
Yes.
I mean, we got in a Zoom and he's like, you don't trust me, you don't like me, and everything. And he goes, your 18-month mastermind in the real estate group is now done for. And I'm like, you're making 50% off of what I sell. He cut off his nose in spite of his face.
Right.
So my Thinking into Results coach, Susan Ma, says, I need you to move. I need you to start your own company. And I need you to find a new real estate group. I'm like, Susan, ask me to lose 10 pounds. So I started my own company, The Trust Is You, in March of 2020. And it's the best decision I ever done. I need to reach out to Zach and say, thank you for making me, because I was playing small, just in my real estate group. And like the gentleman today who saw a TikTok video at 2 o'clock in the morning, or I'm sorry, an Instagram video at 2 o'clock in the morning, and we're going to save him almost $1 million a year in taxes.
Wow.
That's amazing. Well, let's call it what it is, $98,000 a year in taxes. He's just like, I could do so much with that money. I'm like, yes, you can.
That is amazing. Um, yeah, I think we don't realize that we are playing small until something makes us move. We have to be
Exactly. You know,
there.
I knew my fellow real estate investors. They knew me. They liked me. We know each other from the oh, now I'm going to forget, CLA. What does CLA stand for?
Connected Leaders
Connected Leaders.
Academy.
Yeah, okay, exactly. And the gentleman who runs the group, Jose, has introduced me to four clients, and they're like, "You can save how much?" And because of my affiliate program, Jose made, I got paid for that. And everyone I talk to, they're like, "Why hasn't my CPA told me this?" It's not, CPAs don't study trust law. Only trust attorneys know about it. Excuse me. I have a cold. I'm so sorry.
I know, I noticed your voice is different this time. I thank you so much for being here, though.
But again, with getting on podcasts like yours, LS, I can get the word out to more people. I, they don't have to have this, but just to have an idea, you know, why do the Amazons of the world get free land? And my brother, who lives in North Carolina, lost his brewery because the rents went too high. The playing field must be leveled for everybody.
Yes, yes. I'm sad to hear that about your losing that. That's
My sister-in-law thinks it's great because she sees them a whole lot more. So,
pros and cons, perspective,
well,
you know.
he had. I'm not a beer fan. I don't know if you are, but he's won several competitions, and he still brews in their garage. But they had the brewery for 8 years, and all of a sudden, the person who owned the building sold it, and the person who bought it was like, "We're going to raise the rents this much," and they're like, "We have a contract." And like, "Oh, that's with the last owner. I'm the new owner," and this
Yeah.
was before I had the trust, and it just, I mean, 8 years of doing something he loved, and it just went away.
Well, maybe it hasn't totally gone away. We don't want to lose focus. It just could be time just to take a little rest. He's working on stuff right now, and then everybody keeps their eyes open for something that he can own, and he doesn't have to rely on somebody else or worry if the rent's going to go up again. He gets to be the boss. So this may be a good thing. I like to look at the positive of things. I like to see
Yes.
the good. It's good to see the phoenix rise out of the ashes, so to speak, and then go from there. Yeah, I mean, we all as entrepreneurs go through tough times, and sometimes it's devastating times, and we have to give ourselves time to accept it, mourn the loss, and just do what we can to keep on doing. And like you said, he's still doing a little brewing on his own, which is really good. He didn't just say, "Okay, that's it, I'm done with all of it." It's still his passion, it's still his love. And so we just kind of wait and see if there's something else that's going to come up. And it's great he has you as a resource, because now you know what to look for, you know how to help him out once he gets maybe on his new property, and that would be really great. Yeah.
I think he was working full time and running the brewery in the evenings. So I think he's got his time back, and they sold a lot of the equipment. They lost some money at the time, but he's just like, "Nope, I don't want to do, I don't he's happy now." That's all I'm gonna say. He's happy now.
Good.
And my sister-in-law is like, "He's home in the evenings." And I'm not making fun of my sister-in-law, but her father's from Italy. She doesn't know how to cook for two people. When she cooks for like 10 people.
My husband's the same way. Once the kids were all leaving and going, it's like we would have these massive amounts of food in our fridge and in the freezer, and it's like, stop. we can't keep doing this. It's just you and I. And so we're learning. We're learning to downsize a little bit. I don't mind having, he's an excellent chef, so I don't mind having leftovers for the next 3 or 4 days, or put it in the freezer and pull it out next week or something. But yeah, I totally understand the cooking big batches for everybody.
Right,
Even
and
everybody has
she's a
people.
fabulous cook. So I go over on Sundays, and she's like, "Here, take." I get a Tupperware, and like it's 3 days of food. I'm like, "Okay,
Yeah.
thank you."
All right, I'm set. Especially
Exactly.
with food. Yeah.
But my only responsibility, I have to return the Tupperware when I go back over for dinner on Sunday nights, or else I don't get more food. So
Gotta return it so you can fill it up again, of course. But
I return it nice and clean, so it can be, yes.
yes, I, I know a friend and I, gosh, this has been years ago, but she would give me something on a plate and I would return like cookies or something, and then she'd return it, so we were sharing this plate back and forth that I don't think any of us remembered where it originated from, but we were always giving each other here's some lasagna from tonight's meal for you. And oh gosh, here's some other stuff. So that's fun to do that. I love that. Um, and I like to hear that you're doing things that make you happy. I mean, I hear you talk about all of this trust and everything, but when you talk about it, you talk about it with such joy because it's like you're just so giddy to be able to save people so much money and to help them out.
I get to help them out. And then one of my nieces, she went to a private school and she's working for county government in California, making $35,000 a year. She has student loans. So I started helping because I won't say I'm financially free. I still want to put more in there, but I started helping her out. Well, last Christmas, she tells her two sisters, "Oh, Aunt Sally's helping me with her student loans." I'm like, Samantha, this was between you and me. And so now I'm helping three nieces and one nephew pay their student loans. And I'm like, I don't know if when I went to college 40 years ago, I had student loans, I paid them all off. How much they came out of school with student loans is shocking. I mean, for her to
Oh,
be $35,000 and she owes $85,000, the she's got to get an apartment, she's got to have a car, she's got to, well, she doesn't have to have a cell phone, but everyone has a cell phone. And she's just like, I can't make ends meet. And, you know,
no wonder.
just to help family members, that means so much to me because my aunts and uncles always help me out. To be able to help my nieces and nephew out it's just a nice thing to do because my
Yeah.
real estate's doing well, my selling the trust is doing well. If I can help others, that that helps me.
Ah, that's awesome. And I love that. It's you're giving back too. And that's the one thing I love to do. I want to give back. That's why I do the giving book. It's my one book I do every year that I give back as much as I possibly can. I want to help people have a place to have their voice heard and the things that maybe they've never written a book and they don't have enough for a whole book, or they just want to see what it would be like. Well, here you go, or display their artwork or their poetry or a memoir. Maybe they only have one thing that they want to tell the world about, so it'll help somebody else, and this is a place to do it. So, yes, absolutely, I get that. It's wonderful, and especially
Well,
when you've been helped. Go ahead, go ahead.
I was going to say my youngest nephew, when he was in eighth grade, his responsibility was asked both his grandmothers, what's the one thing that changed the most for them in the world? My sister-in-law's mother said the computer. My mom says, "Oh, electricity. I didn't." She left Ireland at age 16 to go to London to be a nurse, and that's the first time she saw electricity. I'm like, that's shocking, because you know, I never thought of that before, and it just how quickly the world's changing for everyone.
Oh
It,
yeah.
it's just, it, you know, I wish she had put her story down. She went from extremely rural Ireland, where if I my grandmother's turf barn's still standing, that's where I want to end up. But to traveling halfway around the world, meeting my dad in a small Eskimo village in Alaska, and
Oh wow.
just I wish she had put it into a book.
Yes, yes. And even just those small stories, it's just so encouraging. I've got the simple little story of my uncle who put an ad in the newspaper for a bride, and his wife to be answered the ad, and they were so happily married for years and years, and to see them celebrate their 50th anniversary, their 75th anniversary, and to know it all started from an ad, and this was
That's
way back in the
amazing.
early 1900s. But yeah, I mean, it's just encouraging to see things like that happen.
Well, but my aunt in Ireland tells the story. It's rural Ireland, and the first letter they get, my mom was working as a nurse in San Francisco, loved it, but she was spending too much money. She writes a letter back to my grandmother and my aunt in Ireland saying, "I'm going to Guam." So my aunt gets on not one bus but two buses, gets to Belfast, looks up where Guam is. They know it's an island, but where? Second letter they get, my mom says, "I couldn't go to Guam. I'm now in Bethel, Alaska, and this really obnoxious guy loves my accent. I can't stand him." So my aunt gets back on the two buses, goes to Ireland, goes to Belfast to research where Bethel, Alaska is. Even people in Alaska don't know where Bethel, Alaska is. Third letter they get, "I'm in love. We're getting married right before Lent, so here's a wedding date." And my aunt's just like, "In 9 months, things changed that quickly?" And my mom's like, "That didn't happen." I'm like, "Mom, where's Guam and where's Bethel? Of course it happened." So
Oh, that's fun.
but yeah, they had 57 years together until my mom passed away, and then my dad, he really missed her, and then when COVID struck, this sounds really bad, but he never smoked around us kids, but he was a smoker for 30 years, and he had COPD, and I
Oh,
really think when COVID everything shut down, and he just really missed my mom, and they did everything together.
yeah, yeah. That was, that's one thing I've heard for years is when you've got such a a connection, I guess is the right word, like that yeah, within a couple of years, the other one is gone once one goes because they just miss them so much. I watched that with my grandfather when my grandmother went, and it was tough. It's tough to see that, but they just miss them so much. And, gosh, they were well over, oh, I don't even remember how many years. It was a lot of years together. And it was always fun to go to their house. But it is, yeah, yeah. COVID brought a lot of sad moments to people and closing ends, and that was definitely a different time, and it certainly changed our world. Um,
It was
so
so shocking at how it changed our world. I mean, it's kind of interesting. My youngest nephew didn't he graduated from high school, but it was all online, and he's just like, "It really ruined my life." I'm like, "No, no, no, no! It changed your life. It did not ruin your life." And I if someone had told me 10 years ago what would have happened in 2000, I'd be like, "Are you crazy?" But it changed a lot. And for me, starting a business online, I would never have been able to do that. I mean, it would have to be a brick and mortar or something.
yeah, absolutely. Yeah, I mean, it changed the way we do schooling, the way we do business, how we interact with each other, how we look at life,
Yes.
and realizing that, wow, can we make it on our own without all of these things? And I think the thing that probably hurt the most, in my opinion, is the distancing. We became apart from each other. So when, like the third year after COVID was over, or COVID lasted 2 years, then we had that other year transition period. It's people just wanted to be around each other and to do things together. But yet there's still a difference in the world on how we look at things and how business is done and what happened. And it's like, wow, this was a really big change. We got to live through it and see it on both sides of it. And
Correct.
it'd be interesting to see how it unfolds even further on. Um, But Sally, thank you so much for being here. Thank you for coming back.
LS, you're so easy to talk to. Thank you for having me again. I hope everything goes well for your family. I hope your daughter is kept safe.
Yes, 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 so much so. Thank you. All right.
Have a beautiful day.
Yeah, thank you. Oh, Sally, we have to let them know how to get a hold of you.
Oh, thank you.
Yeah,
We're just
absolutely.
talking.
I know how to get a hold of you, but they need to know.
Well, I have a free class on the Great Discovery. Do you know about the Great Discovery?
I do actually. Yes, I remember you telling me about it.
Oh, well, if you go out to my www.sallygimon.com, you're going to get a presentation, 3 articles from Forbes magazine, 2 pages of case law that research the trust to your heart's content, and examples of clients. I also have a free website where you'll get a presentation. It's www.thetrustisyou.com. My whole goal is to teach as many people, hey, here's some information you need to know. If you want to start it, great. If you want to think about it, be my guest. It's your decision what you want to do.
Awesome. Awesome. Thank you so much, Sally. And thank you, your audience, for being here. Please check out Sally's websites and get a hold of her, save yourself a bunch of money and you keep it instead of having to give it away. And
Exactly.
yeah.
One of my clients, true story, his wife was a Vietnamese boat person, came with just the clothes on her back. They have a whole charity helping people. My mom came with a suitcase when she came to the United States, and that's all she had for 6 months. So yes, it's scary.
Yeah, it can be. And Americans are going to other places with very little. It's hard to carry things, from one country to another country. So thank you again
Exactly.
for being here.
Thank you, Alice. Have a beautiful day, okay?
All right.
Bye-bye.
And be sure and get a hold of us on wisdomonthefrontporch.com. Bye.
Thank you, my Front Porch friends and neighbors, for pulling up a chair with me and my guest today on Wisdom on the Front Porch. Now, if you've got value from this conversation, would you do me a favor? Leave a quick review, then share it with someone you know who could use some inspiration. It helps more friends find their seat on the porch. And hey, make sure you're subscribed so you never miss what's next. Until then, keep the porch light on for new wisdom every time you show up. Your seat's always here for you on the porch.